Here we are back with the first lesson of the Toolbox that's promoted by the Rotary Passport Club of Social Entrepreneurs. I'm Domenico, and in this venue, we are talking about sustainability and climate change for entrepreneurs. Especially in this third part, we will understand a little bit more in deep what we are meaning with the sustainable value chain, and we'll showcase some tools and frameworks that can be useful also for entrepreneurs to turn from like the classical business model towards like more sustainable business models. So here you can see the basic value chain shape, the basic scheme for a circular economy value chain. As you can see, if we compare these to the classical models, for example, we will see the Porter model after, the first thing that comes into observation is that the mood, the nuance is circular. So we have the introduction of raw material, then the design of the product, the production, the distribution, the consumption that consider also the reuse and repair. We learned before that reuse and repair are very peculiar of a circular economy mindset. The collection when for example, an object, a product is out of consumption, and recycling. Recycling means the extraction of all the material that can be reused as a primary matter. And of course, if there is no possibility of recycling, we have a part of residual waste. But everything is continuing in a cycle. So basically, if there is a resource that can be recycled several times, this is always into the value chain of our circular economy, production chain. So this is the mantra. If we want to design a sustainable value chain that have a circular shape, these words that you can see in these slides are the mantra, the one that need to be always in our mind, each step of the design of our value chain. So the first one is reduce. We have to product with the less resource. We have to be more efficient in our process of production. We have to be able to use wisely the limited resources that our planet is giving to us. Reuse. So before any recycling, there is the reuse. Reuse implies reparation and maintenance. I have to long, as best as I can, the life of my product. Then there is recycle, of course. If there is material that I can use again for another purpose or for the same purpose inside the cycle, I have to recycle it. Recover. Recover is like to, for example, take a material and try to make the best ways in order to take what is remaining and what is possible to properly recover. And of course, at the end, if there are no possibility on using that material anymore, there are the residuals. But also residuals can be, for example, residuals for a chain, for a production chain, but resource for another chain. And so I can connect different value chain in order to save as best as I can material. This is like the mantras of a circular economy mindset, the mantras of a sustainable value chain that if we want to implement new ways of business, new ways of entrepreneurs, we have to keep always in mind. So, as I was saying before, this is the classical Porter model. As we can see in the Porter model, the shape, the direction of the production is linear, is very extractive. So we have a point A of start and a point B of end that is far away from the A, and there is no connection between the start and the end. This is properly like a pump. You see, the pump is going in just one direction to extract resources. This is an extractive model. And instead, we want to think on circular model. in which there is material extraction, processing, and manufacturing, but everything is returning back to be new material. And the material extraction implies also the availability of recycled material that can be part as well of the process. And of course, when we design a new sustainable value chain, we have also to think on way on how to manage setting the governance of the, for example, material extraction, like have common experience that are shared in order to make the best way and the more efficient processes, and so on and so forth. So the sustainable value chain implies also a better management of the chain itself that need to control and monitor and feedback each one of the process. So this continues like monitor, evaluation, and control are a key basis for feedbacking the loops and make them more efficient. So to stay, for example, in the better reduce mindset. We saw that previously the keywords, one is reduce, and reduce is make if we have a continuous feedback on our value chain. So talking about extractivity, sustainability, and so on, there are also models that go a little bit more behind the sustainability itself. We saw that the Porter model, this classical linear model, is something that is very, very extractive. So it led to degeneration of environment because we continue to suck energy, suck resources, suck value from our pool of the, it is the nature, the environment around ourselves. And this is gonna degenerate because there is no possibility to regenerate the resources. And we have to turn from this model, this way of thinking, into not only sustainable, because sustainable, that means that the balance between extraction and regeneration is zero, but also we can go even far beyond regenerating the resources. And actually, regenerative economies are the new frontier for like sustainability. So not only stay into the limit, we can say, but also positively contribute to the limit and to regrow of resources. So regenerative contrib economies can be a possibility of paradigm shift that can turn towards a more healthy and resilient system to contribute to the diffuse constitution of contribution of wealth. Regenerative economies can be a paradigm shift towards like new businesses, new entrepreneur activities that, for example, can be more social, more community-based, and more like distributive in order to also distribute the capital value that is generated by these kind of economies. And regenerative economies are defined in literature by the basic regenerative hypothesis that the same natural and universal principle that build stable, healthy, and sustainable systems to the real world can and be must use it into the model for design new economies. And especially, I want to propose here some framework that research institute have developed in order to promote such kind of regenerative economy. I want to show two of them, especially. One is developed by the Capital Institute and wants to define 8 principles of interconnected principle that underlying systemic health and regenerative vitality of an economic system. These are key principles that you can use also to design your new business, your new activity, in order to promote a regenerative economy. These are, as I said before, the same that we can see in natural ecosystem. In fact, these principles are very coming from the biomimicry, from the better understanding and deep understanding of nature. and they can be applied also in economy. You can see that there is not just the matter of resources, not just the matter of money, but there is also the inclusiveness of the community itself. So community participation and so on and so forth, they are also part of sustainability. We will see in the lesson after. It's important then to when we design a system that want to be regenerative, that want to be moreover than the sustainability, we have to consider this principle in our shape. But how we can, for example, make a transition from the, we can say, classical system, we can say capitalistic system, towards a regenerative economy. I here show another framework that can be useful and interesting, that individuate 7 acupuncture points for shifting capitalism and to create a regenerative ecosystem economies. So here they are. So there are like different, we can say, areas of action which we like can act to reinvent our business. That also are organizational elements. For example, coordination mechanism, labor, capital, public awareness, leadership, technology. These are points that we can use to intervene on our actual business to reinvent it, to like reshape it in order to make them regenerative. It's a matter also, as I said, of organizational point on value chain redesign, and is a complete field of action that's very new, very interesting, that's also challenging. We are in an era in which this kind of paradigm shift is not only asked, but it's essential, and it's important that such kind of paradigm shift is implemented, especially by social entrepreneurs. We are the leading on this field, and that's why it's important that we know this kind of framework in order to like promote new businesses, new models, and regenerative ecosystem economies. So here we are. I want to show also some case studies and suggest you some case studies that you can consider for your life, take inspiration from your business and so on. And the first one is from Trash to Treasure, and this is also a film that you can see on YouTube. Is a movie that tells the story of this cooperative in Lesotho, in the very poor Africa, that basically promoted the recycling of clothes, and from the trash clothes, from even the tires, this group of activists that have been led by a South African girl that was living in Lesotho, are showing how it's possible to, even in the worst environment, even when we are thinking there is no possibility, we can start new businesses, we can start new possibilities. And especially, I can say that contests that seems that are abandoned, seems that are without resources, are the most full of resources. Africa is full of such kind of experience. In fact, I show another case study that is the Ugaga Lab. Ugaga Lab is a more techy one, we can say, and has been founded by Gail Gildas, and it's a fab lab that wants to promote the knowledge and collaborative approach among young people in order to promote sustainability, especially in agriculture, innovation in agriculture. And they have been also prized by UNICEF for their innovative approaches in teaching ICTs, teaching, for example, the use of e-wastes in order to create new value, new ideas, and new innovation for agriculture and in general social field. I strongly suggest to see on these case studies. So that's all for this third part. I hope that you have some elements and some suggestions also to change your business in a more regenerative, and sustainable way. And with that, let's go into the final part. And thank you for your attention.